Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand.
Okay, Pulinanandji, please recite three mantra and everybody follow.
Okay. Namo Vitragaय.
Namo Vitragaय.
Namo Varihantanam.
Namo Varihantanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Loe Savasaunam.
Namo Loe Savasahunam.
Eso Panchanamukaro.
Eso Panchanamukkaro.
Sarvabhavanasano.
Sarvabhavapanasano.
Manglanancha Savesim.
Manglanancha Savesim.
Hadamam Havai Mangalam.
Paramam Bhavai Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand. Now, last week we left at looking at our experience at the subtle mind level. Mind differs from others. Any experience on Deepakanandji, why don't you dwell on that?
Jai Satchidanand. We went through physical, that is, gross mistakes, which normally happens at the level of bodily behavior and verbal wrangle, or at the verbal speech level. And then at the subtle level, it's related to our mind and thought process, where viewpoint plays a vital role in our dealing, and that's where we have classes at the subtle level. The other part is classes at the gross level. We question, argue, comment on someone's behavior, someone's way the person speaks, and someone may comment on our behavior or our speech. At a subtle level, the mind level, it cannot be read that easily, but it gets reflected very much on our face, in our eyes, and of course, at times it can be very boldly visible at our behavioral level, and of course, audible at the verbal level also. Our inconsistence with, or not inconsistent, not in line with our thinking or our belief, that gets reflected on our speech level. Now, the subtler part is at the level of intellect, where it is working all the time in every situation, because anything that happens, or what we do or what we act, it is direct implication, result of our decision, which always is made at the level of intellect. And that's why it is also said that intellect works based on our karma, and it is past understanding what we have gathered several lives, because this body has passed through and was experimented, or rather programmed, we can say programmed by different egoisms, and today it is with us, the same body, and we got enlightened, we are enlightened, and we got separated. So now we can easily see, that is perceive, that is understand, recognize, and acknowledge the mistake at the intellectual level, intellect level, where we don't agree with the situation, the prevailing surrounding, what we come across, and there is argument that goes on inside. And at times we follow, if that stickiness is there of that karma, then we end up following our intellect in a very bad way, wherein we don't accept the natural cosmic power of Yosit Shakti, which is operating all the time in every situation, in every aspect of our life. So most common thing what we can understand is at the subtler level. At subtler level, differences or clashes, they are so complicated. They're not visible very easily, but it is the play of our intellect which plays a vital role in manipulating the other person, pushing the other person, make our way, or do our way, walk our way. The person may not know also, because his intellect is not that powerful enough to understand what I have manipulated. But then when the results come, wherein the person gets affected, gets hurt, or gets into trouble, then he realizes, oh my God, what did I do? But he will not be, or she will not be able to understand rightly that who manipulated me, because I will handle or deal with this situation so smartly through my intellect that I will not let the other person know my actual reason or my intention, and get my things done, or I will say, get all my dirty things or dirty work done through that individual. which is very dangerous. And otherwise, anything and everything that happens as per the natural cosmic law of Vyavasthit, my buddhi, my intellect will always be against that happening because that is past karmic uh, discharging effect, and we cannot expect it to accept it uh, as per the natural cosmic power of it, which operates the whole world. So here we focus on perceive our intellect and keep correcting our mistakes, which is like 24/7 vigilance is necessary. Jai Sachidanand.
Right, so Matma will join a little bit later. We're talking about experience at subtle level and what happens when mind differs from others. So while people are thinking, Pulitanji, you want to add to that?
No, I think it covers up. It covers up. Basically, it is the intellect and our beliefs that we have brought of what is right, wrong, what should be done, should not be done. So those are the two main things. And intellect, if it is Viprit, as they call it, worldly facing, then that causes all this friction. And with the help of Dada's Gnan, five Agnas, and all the satsangs, if the intellect is made to turn, as we call it, as Samyak Buddhi or the correct Buddhi, correct intellect. Correct intellect in the sense, the intellect which is soul facing, which shows the advantages and disadvantages towards moksha. Intellect basically, prime function is to show the advantage or disadvantages in any situation. Typically, it is tuned to show this advantage, disadvantage for the in worldly matters, relative matters. If it gets turned 180 degrees to show towards the liberation, advantage and disadvantage of doing anything, how will it help me for liberation? Then that will help a bit, will help a lot, you see. That is one of the ways of understanding the intellect operations, which side it is operating on. In fact, one of the ways could be when the intellect is showing someone wrong, showing someone's fault, or doing anything which is not in line with the others' preachings or preachings of spiritual masters in the for the benefit of moksha. Then tell the same intellect. Tell the same intellect, now you show me how the person is innocent. You only show me what I should do so that I can see the other person innocent. Sometimes we get manipulate, the intellect manipulates to get its things done the way it wants it to be done. There, you can sell the same intellect, just hold, and let's see what's happening. See what is there in Vyavasthit, what is ordained in Vyavasthit. So, that is other way. If this intellect is showing the faults of others, we can redirect it and say, now you show me the good points of the others, or you also show me the faults of your own self, file number 1. So this is one of the ways to turn the same intellect to our advantage. one thing is not listening to it, one Purushartha is not listening to it, or not, rather I would say accepting it. Listen to you will, but not accepting it. Other thing is, if it's on the aggressive mode, intellect is on the aggressive mode, then asking it to show me the advantages of the real side. So that is one of the ways of managing this. And as we said, reducing the inner friction, reducing the inner friction. If the antaskaran is at peace, then automatically the speech and actions will also be such that it won't hurt anybody. It won't hurt anybody. It will be aiding Sambhavanikal or squaring up of accounts, and it will help us in the path to moksha. So this is that comes to it. Yes.
Very good. So,
Jai Sachidanand. I just want to share one experience with regarding the intellect. So yesterday I was at work and one person came. He was not looking good. His clothes were all dirty. So my intellect told me that that person looks like a homeless person and he may harm us. So my attitude towards him changed a little bit, and I was just paying little more attention for the safety. But he did not do anything wrong. And when he left, I realized that my intellect showed me that that person is a homeless, but he was not actually. So I sh so my so I did some above towards him. So how to do pratikraman for that?
Pulinanandji?
It's very simple. Basically, every time you don't need pratikraman. Here it is just matter of changing your understanding, your viewpoint, how
Yeah.
you look at people. So just tell, so say you are opinionated based on the external looks. Next time, be careful. What you see may not be the real truth. So don't be judgmental right away, and just observe.
Yes.
Be Shuddhatma and leave it at that. And if that happens, pratikraman if you want to do, you can say, Dada, I'm sorry for forming an opinion which turned out to be wrong. Eh, So that's all. Just say repent. I'm sorry, and give me the strength not to do it again. Basically,
Yeah.
more than pratikraman, it is basically understanding what's happening inside, how the intellect is forming opinions, and seeing to it that next time you don't become judgmental based on looks.
Correct.
Essentially, we have to tell form or file number one, be careful, never judge a person by the looks. Okay, you can be alert, but don't be judgmental, and then see what happens. And
So
really speaking, if you go one step ahead, then see Shuddhatma and just say file has come up and let me square it up equanimously.
that's
If you
right.
ask that to, then the power of the intellect will immediately diminish. You see, so one of the best ways of diminishing intellect's power is just using the fourth ajna.
Both are. Yeah,
Using
like
the fourth ajna.
whenever any situation comes like this, first things come in our mind is just a fear. And I heard in one of our satsangs that if there is a fear, there are some mistakes from the past, maybe in
Hmm.
previous life. Can you put some lights on this?
Well, maybe that's this piece of sentence may have been said with reference to some context before that.
Yeah, I don't remember
But
exactly.
but no, it's all right. The little that I can add based on what you're saying is that in any life situation, if we get into fear or more than fear, we get into the worry mode, that what will happen, how will happen, what will happen, how to do it, this and that, then
Right.
we must understand that we have to tread carefully and take things properly. But at times when although there are stressful situations, but we remain cool within inside, the mind is not in the hyperactive mode. The mind is not in the hyperactive mode in the sense, not just pumping in thoughts and thoughts. Then we can be rest assured, we can be definitely assured that the thing for which uh, this thing, will not affect and it'll pass away smoothly. So any big issue that has happened, someone has lost a lot of money, a purse has stolen or some robbery, or if no thoughts come about it, then imagine nothing will happen, everything will settle down very easily. And if too much of thoughts happen, then you can be aware that something is going to definitely happen and be alert. That's all.
Yeah.
So that is one of the ways of doing. So immediately the solution to this such things is to immediately anchor in your soul and calm down the intellect, calm down the mind. That's all.
Yeah, after that you said already, then I realized that, yeah, we just have to
So
just follow the fourth agnya.
yeah, becomes urge, become plain free flowing. Then it's okay.
Yes,
And you know
correct.
what? As you will advance in life, as you will come across many such situations, specifically the uncomfortable situations, you will observe many such things where buddhi is in overdrive, mind is in overdrive, and you'll also observe. And after some time, everything just passes away and it becomes silent. The mind becomes silent, the intellect becomes silent. After some time, but that sometime maybe 1 week, 1 month, 6 months, whatever.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, after the event has passed away, everything is cooled down, if you may say so. You will realize, okay, yeah, all events are of a passing nature. They just come, they give a lot of pain or anxiety or stress, and then they pass away and it goes away. But
Right.
this personal learning, each of us has to do individually. And that personal learning will help each of us to handle similar situations when they occur in future. That thing happens, okay, oh no, things will pass away. Sanyogo viyogi sabha. Things are of
Right.
a past. So that thing will pop up and you will be able to gracefully pass through that and
Critical situation.
anxious situation or anxiety producing situation.
Right.
So, and it'll reinforce our knowledge also. Agnas, it will reinforce. Yes, our
Right.
beliefs will reinforce. And that will help us remaining more in pure soul awareness that I am the pure
Right.
soul.
So any situation come like this, we have to just observe that what's happening with Soham as a being Shuddhatma.
That is ideal. That is ideal. But
Yeah.
to come to that level of this thing in all situations, little push-ups in between will be required, intermediate level, but like not being
Ye-
judgmental,
Yeah,
using the push.
yesterday, yeah, so same thing happened yesterday when that person left from the store. I told Soham that, see, I realized that what happened in Soham's mind. At first he
Hmm.
show him as a bad person, and then he realized that he's not a actually bad person.
So in the
Eh,
process, we are realizing, we have come to understand our own file number one better.
Yes.
That what are the tendencies it has when it encounters such people.
Yeah.
And gradually, by 2 or 3 experiences, you'll become non-judgmental. Person has come, okay, fine. Don't judge it on face value. This was an adverse this thing. The person was not well dressed, so you felt his vagabond type of thing. But even if a person is too well dressed, looking too smart, you may not even take him that he will be really a good guy.
Right. That's right.
Smooth talkers. So just take things at face value, file somebody and to do your best. We should not
We should
either
not
put
judge.
he's bad or he's good. Remain neutral. But
That's
you
right.
see, this is again the point is we should not do that. But the mind and intellect will play their parts. The mind will give thoughts. He's this type of person, or she is this type of a person, good or bad. The intellect will pass judgments, but we have not to get entangled into it.
That's
The
the part
Purusha
of
is at
Soham.
our level. Mind and intellect is at discharge level.
Right.
That is what we have brought, and we are viewing through that lens only. This is a good person, bad person. But
Yeah.
now
So,
by way of Purusha, we are now being more aware and deciding not to fall in the trap of their thoughts, not to fall in the trap of the mind at the thought level, not to fall in the trap of the intellect at the judgmental level, and just be neutral. And gradually, as we become more and more neutral and the intellect is calmed down, the mind automatically will not play a part at all. Indus said,
Right.
"Okay, wait and watch," the mind will stop. If you immediately
Right.
pass judgment, is good or bad, immediately mind will be activated. And if any event first triggers the intellect, and then the intellect, once it triggered, the mind gets triggered and all thoughts start coming.
Right. So as a being Shuddhatma, when I see that Soham's intellect, I immediately that thought will go away.
The effect of the thought will go away. Thought may go or may
Yeah.
not go, but it won't have any effect on you.
It will not have any effect on me. Right.
Like you're sitting in a house and you're seeing some storm passing by from the window. Well, storm is there, huge storm, but you're just observer. It's not affecting you.
Right.
Similarly, the thoughts will come, but will not affect.
Correct. Yeah,
That
completely
is
got it.
that is, and then gradually our awareness will increase to such a level that the intellect will not at all have any damaging effects on us.
Got it. Jai
Yeah.
Sachidanand.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Jai Sachidanand. Okay, anybody? Any other Mahatmas?
Yes. I have a question.
Yeah, Lalitaben.
Jai Sachidanand Pulinanandji and Deepakanandji and Mahatmas. Uh, the reference you're making, the mind and the buddhi will just flood your head with opinions and thoughts. I mean, just I have, like, I would say, glimpses of just being an observer, and these things are just passing through my head. It's not all the time, like, thought of somebody and my entire baggage of opinions about them just kind of flood my head, flood file number one's head. And there was one thing I was reading that where Dada says the nature of the self is that it becomes what it envisions, what it synthesises, and nothing touches the nature of self. So be the self, be nirlep, and hang on to this nature of self. I mean, that really, pierced Lalita's head. That yes, that is who I need to be, and that is how none of these things should touch me. So I just wanted to share that, and I wanted to, acknowledge what you said, that your brain and your mind and your buddhi will continue to do what they're supposed to do. You need to pull back and just be an observer. But it's far and few between. It's not a constant state. That's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
And that's true. That's true. That will happen. And this is the process, or this is our journey towards moksha. This is our journey towards moksha. So when such things happen, basically we will be an observer, apply the gnan, whichever is appropriate, and try to pull back from the effects of intellect or effects of the mind. It is one another word that is used in such context when mind is in the hyperactive mode is lepaiman bhav. Lepaiman bhav means it just engulfs you.
Mm-hmm.
It engulfs you and it overwhelms the individual. It just suffocates. He just doesn't know what to do. Or that's what in outside terminology or outside world we call it anxiety or stress.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens that happens only occasionally. It will not happen often. But then again, the only solution is to pull back. That's all. The only solution is to pull back by saying I'm the pure soul, or uh, I'm a power of infinite knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm full of knowledge, infinite vision. Chanting of the spirit qualities of the soul will
Mm-hmm.
help us pull back and remain anchored in the soul.
In
It's a
fact, I've been
passing
doing
time.
that recently, and I don't know whether that has contributed to these observers glimpses that I'm experiencing.
No, definitely.
Uh-huh.
That has helped. That is the only reason where you are getting these glimpses of observer status.
Uh-huh.
And our goal is to increase the duration of those observer
Correct.
state.
Correct.
Our end goal is that we remain on a constant basis as an observer.
Mm-hmm.
That is our end goal. But that was the state of being of Dada Bhagwan.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, with the help of the same five agnas and the same knowledge only, you will be able to go over there. So what it ultimately boils down is that there is something which is not allowing me to remain in that status.
Yes.
It could be files, it could be external files that you know, lot of work related or family activity related. You have children to handle, or you have job to handle, or people to handle, or whatever. So one is external files, as we call it, and other is our own inner files, or our own inner shortcomings of anger, pride, our own inner enemies of expectations that this is the way it should be done, and adamancy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So our inner enemies are also at play. They play out through the antas current, that is intellect and mind in principle, and to some extent chit also.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we have to catch hold of, and we can uh, we can we can we can manage it when we are able to catch the inner enemies. That's all. And as they diminish, as the intensity of their functioning diminishes, as it reduces, and gradually the remaining separate, the observer status, the Jagrati or awareness level, the duration of the awareness level will increase. Dada said,
So,
I have exhausted my files and inner kashais, and you have to exhaust them. That is the only difference.
yes. Now, when we are saying the stuti of the Atma, is it the entire Charan Vidhi, or is it just the Atma qualities?
Well, that we can individually decide. There is no this thing. Essentially, there are four major qualities of the soul.
Correct.
Infinite knowledge, infinite vision, infinite power, and infinite happiness. Anand Gnan,
Bliss.
Anand Darshan, Shakti, and essentially these. So we could
These
chant
four. Okay.
we could chant one or two of these, the more depending on the situation. If you're feeling too very low and depressed, then Anand Sukh, I'm source of infinite happiness, could also be one of the solutions. Too much of pain, avyabad, I'm not pain free. So when it is being used as a remedy, and in times of crisis, when the intellect or the buddhi is in overdrive mode, then you could chant one of two of these more, for a longer duration, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever,
Okay.
as the need based, like we put ice pack, till the swelling goes down, like that. How? So, and otherwise also, if you want to remain anchored, then you could say those parts of the Charan Vidhi, where we start from Hu Chaitanya Gan Swarupi O Shuddhatma Chuta, all those words. So those we could chant, say, 5 each sentence. And if you want to do it as a Purusharth for about 48 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever, then that is a separate standalone Purusharth, so that we otherwise, irrespective of, not that we are agitated or facing some critical situation outside, otherwise also, I want to remain anchored in my soul. I want to realize my soul. So I can do that also as a standalone Purusharth, separate Purusharth. And that will increase your awareness, right, Taben? And that increased awareness will help you in terms of crisis when the intellect or mind is in overdrive mode. You'll be able to remain you will be able to remain as an observer. That's the point.
Yes. I think this is really, in fact, in addition to my vidhis, I'm going to incorporate this on a daily basis, because I feel the power of that.
It is very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And especially for a person who is a retired person, I suppose, and does not have many sticky files around, it's an excellent thing to do.
Yes.
It's an excellent thing to do.
Yes. Thank you. Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand. Okay, Miraben?
Jai Sachidanand Pulinanandji Deepakanandji Rajnika Kate
Jai
Sachidanand.
Sachidanand.
Jay Sachidan, all the Mahatmas. I have an experience very similar to Lalli Auntie's, and I just want to share because what you have said, Pulinanandji, will is the solution also to what that is. Many weeks ago, we had one Purusharth session about saying when we eat, we have to ensure that we are not harming anyone, that we are remaining in Shuddhatma, we are observing Meera eating, we are observing, and each morsel that Meera eats, Shuddhatma is observing. So I was doing that Purusha, and I suddenly got just this awareness of Shuddhatma, watching Meera eat every single morsel, every single anything, and just watching Meera eat and just watching. And the overall sense of peace was amazing. Then I'll tell you what happened. Suddenly this intellect came in and said, Ayo Meera, this is how your life will be. What should you do? Should you do this? Should you do that? How should you do this? And suddenly I can feel myself crashing back to eating my dal. And I can tell you the exact moment when that happened. And now I'm realizing, Pulinanandji, what you just told Lalli Auntie, that is what the intellect does. And it's bringing Meera back, bringing just that. And I want to retain that jnana, that peace I felt. So I will also do Siddha Stuti, and I will make sure that I am staying in that awareness mode. Jai Satchidanand.
No, that is true. That is true. A good experience that, as long as we can say favorable circumstance there, your awareness was intact, watching Meera eat in every morsel. And something triggered, and then the intellect played its part, and then it came down, you see. So wonderful. What Dada says, Dada says that even watch this happening. Even watch the intellect play the part, even watch you getting entangled into it and then feeling the suffocation and then again coming out of it. So watch this flip-flop. Watch this flip-flop of the intellect and Atma Jagrati. It's a sort of a flip-flop between the two, a tuggle between the two top. So observe that also. That also is to be observed. And of course, the moment you observe, you are automatically going to come out. And let me tell you, here our karmas play a part. Our discharge karmas play a very important part. If for some reason you have got some stubborn or sticky karmas playing their part, then this what you said will not happen so easily. It came crashing down, I observed, and then again I came back. That crashing and remaining in that state of suffocation will be of enhanced duration if some sticky karmas are playing their part. I'm just sharing the overall scenario of what are things that can happen. In a good place where karmas are not hindering you, first class, you are observing Meera separately or file number 1 separately. Then little things happen, the awareness goes on, just like cloud coming in between and moving out. So it was fine, a light cloud. And in extreme cases, you can also have dense clouds lasting for a longer duration. Ultimately, everything goes away. That I can assure you. Only the duration is vary. Sometimes it is 1 hour, it may be 1 day, it may be 6 months, it may be 1 year, it can be anything, but not so long. Typically, we come back reasonably fast. Only thing that we may have to keep coming back reasonably fast for a longer duration if our very sticky karmas are at play, discharge karmas are at play. But typically, this is to be also observed, a very nice observation. And this helps us. This helps us in realizing that we still have the intellect playing its part. And how do I manage it? How do I manage it such that it does not bug me next time? And if you ask me, my experience is that in the long term, if you are somehow able to diminish the intellect, the power of the intellect or the light of the intellect, then we remain in a very sustained state of awareness, separate awareness, or the soul awareness. We can remain on a sustained soul awareness state for longer duration. So essentially, basically, we are managing our discharge intellect or discharge mind and discharge understandings that we have brought. Otherwise, had we not got this Gnan from Dada Bhagwan, then it would have taken us many life births to come to grow spiritually or to progress on the path of spirituality. Many life births to realize this. But with the grace of the other, we are realizing it very fast and squaring it also equally fast. So Dada said, 1 or 2 life births, you will be liberated. This is the whole process. And we have to enjoy the process of Purusharth. Purusharth is of observing, file number 1. Purusharth is of neutralizing the ill effects of discharge antaskaran. Neutralizing that effect. That's it.
Jai Satchidanand Pulinanandji. Thank you.
Deepakanandji, did you hear that? Or are your connection? No.
Yeah, Jai Satchidanand. First of all, we must understand and realize that I am your soul. We have got separated by Dada's divine grace, and that separation is there. What we need is to feel that separation, to use the divine light of your soul to perceive our discharging mind, speech, body karmas. Now, certain karmas are very sticky. So, the stickiness is such that we have to pass through the suffering which it inflicts. It doesn't inflict us, because wherever I am is there, all ownership related to I am is mine. And where I am not, all ownership related to who I am not is not mine. But this demarcation, Dada has made it for us, but we have to put an effort, an experimental effort to get away from its effects. Keep contemplating on mind, speech, body aspects are not mine, and pure soul perceives. As soul as pure consciousness, which I am pure soul, I am pure consciousness. And wherever, what do you call it? Body consciousness or pure consciousness, each part is part discharging. And because of the stickiness of that karma, it makes us feel happening to me, but still, in principle, it is the part of the karma which is making us feel, making it at that time or in that situation or at that moment, we must use our full vigilance and remain separate. So, hello? Hello?
Yeah, she's listening.
Yes, I'm here. Yes, Jai Satchidanand Deepakanandji. Yes. Full vigilance.
Yeah.
Full vigilance.
So that vigilance is important. It is like once you get married, you know that you are now wife, you are not single. You are and
Mm.
the thought related what you used to have, they're not applicable to you. Immediately say, hey, I'm right now.
Correct,
Just
correct,
forget it.
correct,
In
correct.
this way, that we are pursuing discharging karmas of Mira or say Lalita, name-bearer self, name-bearer body self, then
Name
we
bearer
are
body.
in that pure consciousness state.
Mm.
It makes us experience bliss. And the moment we are not getting into that sufferer state, but it is we just feel that it is mine. Because our verbal expressions are like that. I didn't like, I like, see, I went here, I went there, I don't like this, I will not allow this, I will not accept this. So all these my stuff which gets elaborated in our speech, at that same time we must use the separation and say, wherever the I, you say Mira, say Lalita. And the moment you will say that, that awareness, that vigilance will start working so strongly and precisely, like cutting edge, you will immediately start experiencing bliss of pure soul because you are acting as pure soul. You are not attributing all that is happening to Mira, that is body self, Mira, body self, Lalita, as mine. Also, that verbal expression will be in that regard, they're saying, mine, happening, I did like, I have
Correct.
But then, with this vigilance and understanding and awareness, and not awareness, but it is when we start contemplating and perceiving through pure soul, vision, pure soul, divine light of pure soul, what happens? We are functioning as pure soul. And in that very moment, irrespective of the agony of the discharging karma, to whatever level it is, you will start experiencing space that very moment. So what remains is to flip the card of our awareness, of our perception, that it is not mine, it is not me. By narrating that same experience which got expressed in your speech as mine, I did like, I like. So immediately say, Meera did like, Meera liked, Lalita.
Yes.
Lalita's kid. It is not your kid. You are pure consciousness. Pure soul is pure consciousness. So you are not contemplating. Now your contemplation is 24/7. I am pure consciousness. I am pure soul.
So I am pure soul.
That vigilance gets driven away because of the stickiness of the discharging karma. That vigilance is lost, or apparently it becomes hazy, and you start feeling the suffering of the sufferer, which is not happening to you because suffering is so gross, and you are subtlest, pure soul, pure consciousness. Nothing can touch pure consciousness. So one thing is that at that moment, you will pass through this agony of suffering and sufferer state. But the moment, because of the stickiness and pressure of the karma, but the moment it passes away and the pressure reduces drastically, this vigilance will take its part, will take its action, and you must resolve, correct whatever mistake was committed or whatever feeling you had. So it's like at that moment you felt it happened to me, I did this. But immediately with this vigilance afterwards, because during the force of the karma, that may not be possible. But we can definitely correct ourselves, understand the whole situation, and resolve the matter amicably at the end, which will help us create such a body self for future, which will be 100% perfect. It is not
Jai
so
Sat-
today because the mind, speech, body are not in unity, right?
Yes.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. Jai Satchidanand. Thank you, Deepakanandji. Thank you, Pulinanandji. Thank you, Rajika. Thank you.
Jai Satchidanand. Shreya Van?
Jai Satchidanand Pulinanandji, Jai Satchidanand Deepakanandji, Jai Satchidanand Mahatmas. This is also related to what was just now discussed. There was a saying today in the WhatsApp group, which in which Dada is saying about Sukshma Tap. About it says when someone speaks harsh words to you, the whole inner psyche of the mind, the intellect, reflective consciousness, and ego initially boils, and if you observe it until it calms down, that is subtle penance. So is this the same thing that is just now being discussed, like how you just observe it, the agony of the sufferer and the suffering, and is that what Sukshma Tap is all about?
Sukshma
Sukshma
Tap. Tap. Yeah, that's it.
Same
That's
thing?
right. Sukshma Tap or inner Tap, if I put it. Tap at the
Subtle
inside,
penance.
which is not visible outside.
Oh, so every
Ah,
time you observe, this is what the penance is?
Ideally speaking, yes.
Oh, okay.
That observe the suffering also.
Nice.
Observe the suffering also. And observe that is Tap. That is inner Tap, inner penance.
Okay. So yeah, because
That
this
is
is also like anger, you just wait for it to subside. Like if you're counting to 10 or something, usually when you get angry, and you just give it some time and you just watch it and it just goes away because it's fleeting, it's not going to stay. So every time you do it, that becomes penance, right? Like
that becomes. We anyway, you see, suffering we are anyway. Either we are engrossed in that thought or the intellect, or we remain separate.
right.
We,
Okay.
we are also going to do purusharth or effort to remain separate. No, this
Yes.
is not my thought. I'm pure soul. I'm pure soul.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
pure soul. That not getting engrossed or entangled and remaining separate is also a purusharth. No? And that purusharth is the true purusharth, and there will be penance in that process.
I see. Okay.
Not getting engrossed. If you're
Okay.
engrossed, you're going to suffer.
Yes. Okay. Got it.
This is remaining separate and not suffering.
Acha.
At least you get one advantage of remaining separate. Suffering will happen, but observe that also.
Acha. Okay, got it.
That is bound. You see, this is one of the key essential ingredient on the path of moksha. Jnana, darshan, charitra, and tap. We say to get liberated, one must have the right knowledge, the right understanding, and Gyan, darshan, charitra, right conduct, and tap. Tap is inherent on the path of moksha, inherent, inbuilt. Why? Because man, vachan, kaya, mind, body, speech is a discharge. It is flowing out in one direction based on what we have charged in the previous birth. And today's knowledge or today's desire, intent is to go towards moksha, to be free from the body, not to stay in the worldly life. So it is at variance to what we have brought. It's in line with what we have brought. It's in the opposite direction, I want to have nice time, and they say, no, I want to remain in soul. A nice time is watch movie, eat food, clothes, shopping. So relative happiness. And now we are saying, no, remain in the real. So there is always directions are different, the intents. So that conflict to remain in our today's direction against the Prakriti, walking against the Prakriti or doing Purusharth against the Prakriti is tough. Na? When you're doing something against something, is always tough, which is most essential for every realized person who wants to open up his Keval Gnana. So when that happens, take it good. Good. I'm doing tough. It's good. Enjoy. You know what you should tell? You should tell Sailaben or you should tell file number 1. Enjoy. Just use one. What? Enjoy the suffering. Like this, suffering, lot of thoughts, this, that. No. I'm pure soul. Enjoy. Enjoy what's happening. Now, once you make it enjoy, and then the bitterness that is associated, the discomfort that is associated goes away. Why to enjoy? I'm doing tough. I'm squaring off my account. I'm remaining the pure soul. I'm progressing and advancing on my path to moksha. Hence enjoy. I'm squaring up the karma. My karma is getting exhausted. Hence enjoy.
Okay.
The same intellect, you're just inverting on the head, upside down. Intellect says, oh, I'm miserable. No, enjoy.
Okay.
And it's a psychological effect. Enjoy. Then nothing will happen.
Thank you. Yes, that's it.
Deepakanji, you want to add something?
Actually, I couldn't hear Shaila's.
Okay.
Sorry for that. Huh?
Okay.
My internet was not there that time.
Okay. Sounds good.
So
Jai
sorry.
Sat.
Jai Satchidanand. Thank you.
Okay, we are almost coming to the end. Pulinanandji, Deepakanji, we want to continue this looking at the subtle mind and conflicts with other people and in mind. Pulinanandji, Deepakanji?
As whatever Deepakanji.
No, what are the Pulinanandji, you put that the Purusharth part also, we could both of these things working together. Huh?
So,
I mean, it should be good. So we have some alternative also together to work for.
yeah, okay. I think let us keep it at that, observing, and let me say, let me just expand a bit on that. In the sense, what Purusharth are we doing to remain separate? What Purusharth are we doing to remain separate? The learning from the self. See, one is, we have been discussing the observation part. That I observed my Jagrati while eating, each morsel was there, then it came down. I observed this, I observed that. That Lalita Krishnan, she told that doing Sit Stuti helped me a lot, you see. So those were experiences. And that also falls that what Purusharth you did to remain out. So if you can have some Purusharths, we can do that also. And try to figure out, if possible, which I have otherwise said in the general satsang also, one or two key things in the Prakriti which are a source of hindrance to remain separate from the body, so that my awareness, my Atma Jagrati remains sustained. Something comes and that will always happen. While we have been discussing here in this forum last 2-3 weeks is in general, all the things that are troubling us to remain separate, that I am separate, and observe the things happening at the antaskaran level, mind, body, mind, intellect, and that level. So that is also true. That is also perfect. And if you are able to pinpoint that this thing keeps on happening again and again, in spite of my best of efforts, see if something comes in your awareness, and what could be done on that. That is number one, homework for the week. And as we said, we remain separate and see what Purusharths we are doing so that we have overcome. So maybe the learnings of the Purusharths could be shared in the group, and that would be cross-learning, one from other mark, each from other mark. So for the time being, this is that comes to my mind. Let's see it next week, something else. Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, can you do Tea Mantra? Everybody please follow.
Namo Vitragaya.
Namo Vitragaya.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Vazayanam.
Namo
Namo
Vajjayanam.
Vajjayanam.
Namo Loe Sawasanam.
Namo Loe Savasahunam.
Eso Panchana Mukkaro.
Eso
Panchana
Panchanamukkaro.
Saupavapanasano.
Savvappanasano.
Savvapanasano.
Manglanam Jasuvesem.
Mangalanam
Mangalam cha
Jasavesam.
Sarvesem.
Padamam Havai Mangalam.
Paramam
Paramam
Havai
Havai
Mangalam.
Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om
Om
Namah
Namah
Shivaya.
Shivaya.
Jai Satchidananda.